if Patrick Reed hit his ball in the water, he would get to drop right there with a penalty stroke and he's hitting 3. If he hits it in a hazard of any type, right? Same rule applies. Drop right there, hitting 3. If he hits it out of bounds, it's different. You go back to the tee box and you're hitting 3 on the tee box. If everybody knows your ball is in the tree, you should not have to take a lost ball penalty and go back and re-tee and hit 3 from the tee box.
Patrick Reed has become the name golf can't escape. One spark, and suddenly every old scandal, every feud, every unanswered question is back in the spotlight. Fans are divided, insiders are uneasy, and the narrative is shifting fast. And today, I'll break down how he became the sport's most polarizing figure. Persona pressure. The narrative around Patrick Reed didn't erupt overnight. It accumulated the way slow, heavy weather does, gathering charge until everyone swore the thunder had always been there. From the start, Reed shaped a distinct identity. The scrappy, defiant Texan who insisted he didn't need the golf world's approval. Some days that attitude read as charm. Other days it grated against a sport built on quiet humility and carefully managed modesty. Golf culture didn't quite know what to do with a player who styled himself as the outlaw of the fairways.
If I stew over something that I felt like I didn't intentionally do, at the end of the day, I mean, it's my word versus their word, and they weren't standing there, they had a camera angle, so because of that, you know, I mean, you don't really have a choice. But at the end of the day, I mean, after seeing the club go back and brush some sand, I mean, they thought that, you know, that's a breach and the rules of golf. If you improve your lie, whether it's you set up and the ball moves, or you set up and something breaks, just like you're taking practice swings, I mean, it's a penalty. I mean, at the end of the day, you have to just accept it and move on.
Across seasons, small moments stacked into a pattern. Fans clocked the swagger that occasionally edged into entitlement. Rivals caught the sharp undertones in his interviews, the hints, the jabs, the sense that Reed believed he operated on a separate wavelength. None of it broke rules, but it strained patience. The media, always eager to assign roles in golf's ongoing morality play, leaned into the image. Depending on who you asked, Reed was misunderstood, magnetic in a chaotic way, or simply complicated. But the real shift came from how easily he slid into the villain archetype. Intense, confrontational, and occasionally theatrical, he rarely avoided friction with other players. Sometimes the conflicts were real. Sometimes they were ordinary disagreements inflated by social media's appetite for heroes and antagonists. Once online communities cast him as the antagonist, every gesture felt like confirmation. Reed's unwavering confidence didn't help. Fans saw defiance where he saw belief. Peers saw conflict where he saw individuality. So when he jumped to LIV Golf in 2022, the verdict was already written. A bold personality, a string of tense moments, and a polarizing career move merged into a reputation that now feels less like opinion and more like destiny. A narrative people seem determined to keep alive. Sand spectacle. If Reed's persona created early friction, the rules controversies cemented it. The 2019 Hero World Challenge became the moment everything crystallized, not because a penalty happened, but because it became the penalty, the one that rewrote his public identity. Broadcast footage showed Reed taking practice swings in a waist area where sand appeared to shift. Officials reviewed it, ruled he had improved his lie, and handed him a 2-stroke penalty. Routine in theory, explosive in practice. Online, the clip turned into a forensic investigation. Fans dissected it frame by frame, pundits sharpened their tone, and the conversation ballooned from mistake to morality play.
Can't wait for this new year to come. This is another opportunity for us to show off his rejuvenated game. This is, Reed and that footprint.
Looks like the footprint has kind of simulated a fried egg, Bones.
Yeah, I'm going to go D- here on the lie. He's going to have to hit a good shot just to get this next one on grass. I mean, if you hit it on the green, it would be something of a miracle. But I think at this point, you're thinking, how can I make 5 with the least amount of stress? And, you know.
The intensity wasn't about the infraction. It was about what it symbolized. Players weighed in, some softly, others pointedly, and the moment was cast as a breach of golf's sacred code. Once that image took root, the fallout lingered far beyond the event. Articles and highlight reels replayed the scene endlessly, turning it into the modern Zapruder film of golf ethics. Then came the embedded ball incident at the Farmers Insurance Open. Reed called for relief, officials ruled he was correct, and technically everything aligned with procedure. But fans saw the ball bounce before it settled, and optics, not regulations, drove the storm. Even with full tour backing, the narrative reignited. More debate, more suspicion, more talk of patterns. In golf, few sins stick like rules controversies. The sport prides itself on integrity and self-policing, so even ambiguous moments become permanent shadows. Reed's defensive responses only fueled the perception. Intent no longer mattered, interpretation did. And once that perception hardened, every future ruling was viewed through the same lens. Suspicion first, facts second. Ryder rupture. If tournaments shape reputations, the Ryder Cup decides who becomes a legend and who becomes a lightning rod. And in 2018, Patrick Reed found himself cast firmly in the latter role. Paris was already a pressure cooker for Team USA, and when the squad stumbled, all the existing tensions around Reed sharpened. As the dust settled, reports surfaced of internal friction, and Reed, polarizing long before the plane even touched French soil, became the unofficial spokesperson for the dysfunction. Quotes attributed to him painted a portrait of a player who felt overlooked, misused, or downright disrespected by teammates and leadership.
You're rattling change in your pocket. That's what I'm pointing at you for.
Well, thank you. Stop.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
You know what? No, I need you all to go over there on that
Yes,
side of the
please.
green. Go.
You can just walk away.
I need camera guy
Yep.
too, since he's part of you. Sorry. He lost privileges by going like that with change. Keep going. I'm not hitting until y'all get the heck out of here. Like, completely out of here.
The fallout was instant and ferocious. Commentators dissected every syllable, players lobbed veiled responses, and fans devoured the storyline like a soap opera built on bunker shots and bruised egos. Reed didn't soften his tone or offer diplomatic walkbacks, which only intensified the narrative. He wasn't playing the team unity game. He was speaking his truth, or, depending on perspective, throwing gasoline on a losing week. Crowds didn't forget. Boos, chants, and pointed jeers followed him at events, while social media turned Ryder Cup drama into meme culture. Highlights were repackaged as evidence of locker room chaos, overshadowing Reed's actual play. And the moment didn't fade. It calcified. The Ryder Cup became the shorthand explanation for why certain fans bristled at his presence. Every future disagreement or tense interaction was retrofitted back to Paris, solidifying the perception that Reed wasn't just controversial, he was personal. Legal crossfire. When the public conversation around Patrick Reed grew too loud to ignore, he didn't choose silence, he chose subpoenas. The shift from sporting controversy to courtroom drama turned him from a golfer at the center of heated debate into a headline-generating legal character. In August 2022, Reed filed a sweeping defamation lawsuit aimed at broadcasters, analysts, and even media outlets he claimed had smeared his name for years. The suit's eye-catching dollar amount alone, hundreds of millions, ensured that the story erupted across sports media. For Reed, it was meant to be the counterpunch, the bold statement that he wouldn't let the narrative crush him.
Professional golfer Patrick Reed's lawsuit against the golf media has completely backfired. Not only did he lose the lawsuit, but he's been ordered to pay the attorney's fees of the people that he sued. Patrick had claimed that he had been defamed and that his business prospects had been harmed because the golf media had bitterly criticized his decision, along with other golfers, to join the Live Golf League, backed by the Saudi government that has questionable human rights practices. The judge decided that the case was not valid.
But litigation doesn't play by the rules of public sympathy. Court filings are public documents. They get dissected, quoted, and turned into content. Suddenly, instead of burying controversy, the lawsuit opened fresh layers of speculation, commentary, and scrutiny. Analysts debated the strength of Reed's claims. Critics mocked the scope. Fans treated the case like a spectacle. Legal reporters dove into docket updates with the same enthusiasm golf fans had once reserved for tournament highlights. Every motion and filing became a fresh meme or screenshot, catapulting Reed's name back into the discourse cycle each time things seemed to quiet. by 2024 and into 2025, the momentum had shifted. Key filings didn't go Reed's way, and by the time appellate rulings emerged, the central claims had fizzled. What was intended as a courtroom cleansing had turned into a public autopsy. Instead of vindication, Reed received an avalanche of coverage that framed the lawsuit as overreaching, theatrical, or simply doomed. Fans who disliked him viewed the losses as proof he was wrong. Fans who supported him saw the system as stacked. Either way, the lawsuits entrenched Reed's polarizing status instead of dismantling it. The legal saga also fed into a larger narrative, that Reed wasn't just fighting critics, he was fighting perception itself. Suing commentators, at least in the eyes of the internet, looked like an attempt to wrestle control of the narrative through force rather than conversation. And because the suits cost time, money, and public goodwill, outsiders saw it as another chapter in a familiar pattern, one where Reed doubled down instead of diffusing. His legal filings became symbols of his defiance, but also reminders of how deeply he was embedded in the culture war around golf, media, and reputation. In the end, the lawsuits did the opposite of their intention. Instead of clearing the air, they clouded the atmosphere with even more noise. And in the digital age, where attention is a weapon, adding noise only sharpens the caricature. Campus ghosts. Years before Patrick Reed became a walking debate topic on the PGA Tour, whispers followed him from college like faint but persistent echoes. Those early rumors, cheating in practice rounds, friction with teammates, allegations of stolen items, surfaced in a 2015 book excerpt and later articles, none of them supported by hard documentation, but all of them sticky enough to survive in the golf community's collective memory. Reed denied every accusation, but denial rarely travels as far as scandal. What should have been old, dusty lore turned into a time-delayed grenade that exploded whenever his name resurfaced in controversy. The powerful part about these stories wasn't their factual certainty, they lacked that, but the way they fit into the puzzle people thought they were assembling. Fans connected college allegations to professional disputes. Commentators referenced them as historical footnotes during new controversies. Online communities pulled them out like archived evidence every time the discourse reignited. The unproven nature of the accusations didn't weaken their cultural force. Instead, it made them feel mythic, like stories told around campfires about who someone really was. Media outlets that revisited the college era often acknowledged how murky the details were. Former coaches defended Reed. Former teammates described friction, but stopped short of formal charges. Anonymous sources painted messier pictures, but without documents to anchor them. The truth sat somewhere in the fog, but ambiguity is a poor shield against modern internet certainty. To an audience already primed by the Hero World incident or the Ryder Cup rift, the college allegations didn't feel like isolated claims, they felt like origin stories. Every time Reed appeared in another rules controversy, fans resurrected the Georgia claims. Every time he clashed with another player, someone posted the same old quotes. And because Reed maintained a firm line of denial rather than extensive explanation, the rumors felt frozen in place rather than resolved. Whether fair or not, it created a narrative arc from college missteps, alleged or exaggerated, to professional flare-ups. Once a reputation becomes retroactively explained, it becomes nearly impossible to detach present-day events from the past. This phenomenon made Reed's college years less about what did or didn't happen, and more about how stories evolve when a figure is already polarizing. The more his name trended, the more people dug through old archives. The more people dug, the more the myths spread. Reed wasn't just living under current scrutiny, he was living under the accumulated weight of every anecdote, every quote, every rumor that could be threaded into the tapestry of his career. That's how campus ghosts became modern torpedoes, drifting, resurfacing, and detonating at the worst possible moments. Viral villainy. If Reed's reputation problems began on the course, they metastasized online. Modern sports culture is a montage machine, and once the internet decides someone is a villain, the edit button becomes a guillotine. The Hero World penalty clip, only a few seconds long, evolved into a meme ecosystem, slowed down, zoomed in, set to dramatic soundtracks, and remixed into highlight reels of alleged misdeeds. Those 30 seconds became a symbol, not of a single incident, but of a personality archetype. In the age of short-form content, symbols spread faster than nuance. Fans took the baton and sprinted. TikTok edits showed Reed as the antagonist in golf's supposed morality play. X threads broke down every micro-expression, every close call, every awkward interaction. YouTube compilations strung together his controversies like chapters in a saga: the sand moment, the embedded ball, the Ryder Cup quotes, the lawsuits, the social media flare-ups. Pundits capitalized on the momentum, carving out their own narratives, feeding the cycle. The coverage wasn't just repetitive, it was viral, and viral stories rarely fade. They linger until the next scandal reignites them. Reed's move to LIV Golf in 2022 became the accelerant. The golf world, split into tribal camps over the Saudi-backed league, cast players as symbols in a broader culture war. For Reed, already wearing the label of antagonist, the move felt to many fans like a declaration of allegiance to the sport's villain storyline. Whether fair or not, the internet treated his choice not as a business decision, but as a character reveal. Traditionalists critiqued him. LIV supporters defended him. The discourse thrived on the tension. Amid all this, Reed occasionally spoke about how the scrutiny affected his family, particularly his children. Those moments added a human layer to the narrative, a reminder that viral caricatures impact real lives. But empathy rarely competes well with spectacle. The highlight reels kept circulating. The memes kept looping. The narrative kept calcifying. What emerged wasn't just criticism, it was myth-making. Patrick Reed became less of a person and more of a cultural construct, shaped by footage, fueled by fandoms, and reinforced by repetition. In the digital arena, reputation is performance, and performance is endlessly replayable. Reed's story became the cautionary tale. One clip can define a player, one narrative can overshadow a career, one controversy can become a brand. And in the case of Patrick Reed, that brand stuck. Patrick Reed didn't become the sport's most polarizing figure because of one moment. He became one through accumulation, repetition, and viral amplification. His story is a reminder that reputations aren't built, they snowball. And once they start rolling downhill, even the loudest denials can't slow them. That's it for today. If you like this video, make sure you are subscribed to this channel and don't forget to share your thoughts down below.